So it's official, episodes 3 and 4 of Hazbin Hotel Season 2 are officially out, and with it we learnt about the true power of Alastor. We learned everything about his deal, who he's stronger than, who he's weaker than, and we know for a definitive fact he is now the strongest sinner. So today I'm going to tell you how strong Alastor is, explain all the evidence, and tell you for a fact why he's one of the strongest characters in the verse. Now of course, spoiler warnings before we jump in, so let's get into it, you've been warned. Now if you haven't seen, in the latest episode of Hazbin Hotel, we learnt that Alastor actually made a deal with Rosie. Now if you didn't know, Alastor's wish was to be the strongest sinner, to be so strong that he could continue his killing without anyone being able to stop him. Now Rosie does confirm that due to how evil and interesting Alastor's soul was, she was able to complete this wish under one condition. You see, we found out that Rosie actually owns Alastor's soul until Alastor completes a few things. Now you see, when Alastor approaches Rosie, he says that you haven't held up your end of the deal because he's not the strongest sinner, but Rosie does confirm that him losing to an Archangel Adam doesn't contradict the fact that he's the strongest sinner. And this is why Alastor's soul is still bound to Rosie, because Alastor is the strongest sinner and nothing changes that. Now if you haven't noticed, this does follow suit with the rest of the series. We know from Vaggy's statements in the pilot that Alastor is the strongest sinner, which 100% confirms the fact that Alastor is stronger than Vox and Zestial. Now you might be wondering, since Rosie technically owns Alastor's soul, doesn't that make Rosie stronger than Alastor? Well, technically no. If you didn't know, Rosie is a sinner. She is an overlord in Pentagram City, which means she follows the deal of Alastor, which means the only way Alastor's deal could hold is if Rosie is weaker than Alastor. And this is seemingly confirmed by Alastor himself when he implies that once he's free from his shackles, Rosie is unable to stop him. But you know what's insane? There's even more. If you didn't know, the way a sinner gets more powerful in hell and becomes an overlord is by making deals and taking others' souls. But you see, Alastor is different. If you didn't know, from the first second Alastor arrived in hell, he was already the strongest sinner. This is stated by Rosie as per her deal. And you see, this is also backed up by Mimsy's backstory when she explains that from the first second Alastor arrived in hell, he was already killing overlords. And you know what's insane? Every time that Alastor took out an overlord, he took their soul, as confirmed in the pilot. Which means throughout the 70 odd years of the Radio Demon days, Alastor was getting stronger and stronger every time he took out an overlord. And by my count of all the overlords he was shown to kill in the Mimsy backstory, and then on top of that husk, he should have taken out at least 7 or 8 overlords. And you know what's so insane about that? It's implied in season 1 that it takes tens of thousands of souls to turn someone into an overlord in the first place. And this makes a ton of sense if you think about it. If you go back to the pilot, Vaggy confirms that Alastor's power is on par with some of the oldest evils of hell. And during this, we even see reference to things like Ask Oasia. And you know what? There's even more. If you didn't know, in the latest episode of Hazbin Hotel, we learned that Vox and Alastor had a fight many years ago where Vox lost horrendously. And then on top of that, we see a fight between the two today where Vox is still losing against a vastly injured Alastor. And just so you understand, in the episode itself, we learned that Alastor's staff and his body is so injured he can't use his powers properly at all. You see, if you didn't know, when you're hit with an angelic weapon, you're no longer able to heal, which is what sinners do all the time when they're injured. And this is why sinners are capable of dying for good, unlike what they normally are throughout the main series. And you see, when Adam landed those 2 big attacks on Alastor's staff and then his chest, he was unable to heal them or use his powers properly through his staff. And this is even confirmed by both Vox and Valentino when he's fighting the V's, that he's unable to use his powers properly due to the Adam fight. And even with all this, in the latest episode, we see an injured Alastor fight all 3 V's at the same time and is still winning the majority of the fight. And this is super insane to me for multiple reasons. The V's are all overlords. 3 overlords at the same time are unable to easily defeat Alastor, and if anything, he's winning the majority of the exchanges. And you know what's even more insane? When Husk sees Alastor fighting the V's and he knows that the staff is broken, he's still surprised how well the V's are doing against Alastor. And even at the end of the fight, it's not like Alastor loses, he just gives up to save the rest of the hotel for some weird scheme he's doing. So yeah, even for someone like Vox, who's been getting upgrades and upgrades and upgrades throughout the years to get stronger from his original overlord self, is still unable to fight an injured Alastor to a standstill, and needs the help of the other 2 V's who are both overlords in their own right with a massive amount of influence just to stand a chance. Which means to me that Alastor is easily a top 7, top 8 character in the series without a doubt, stronger than every overlord, and it's not funny. You could even argue the massively injured Alastor we see fight the V's is still the strongest overlord by far, by arguing Vox is one of the strongest overlords still. Alastor was doing so well that his little creation Nifty was doing high diff fights with Valentino and Overlord. So yeah, my conclusion is that Alastor is a top 8, top 7 character in the verse and is by far the strongest overlord by a mile, and probably just one of the strongest evil things in the universe. I would even go as far as to compare Alastor's power to that of one of the 7 deadly sins, because even they don't have feats at this scale. But yeah guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know in the comments how strong you think Alastor is. Let me know what you thought of the new episode, and I hope you have an amazing day. Also guys, we are almost at 40,000 subscribers, so please, if you got this far in the video, please leave a sub, comment, like, and tell me what you think of the video itself. themselves. So that's the video. See ya, guys.